Watching a documentary on psychopaths, trying to learn more about myself. I'm foam rolling right now at 2 a.m. in the morning because I was sitting down eating and I go to get up and ooh, I got a twinge in my hip flexor all of a sudden. Nothing bad, but it was an old pain that I felt and complained about way back, right before I started dieting for that photo shoot. I told you guys that I later on found it was just from lack of mobility overall. My muscles got really, really tight. Well, been doing a lot of squatting, as you guys have seen. It's been feeling great, knock on wood. And this doesn't feel bad. I just noticed it when I was getting off the couch. I was like, ooh, hip flexor feels a little sore. So, time to foam roll, because I've been neglecting it the last couple of weeks. I get down here, I start rolling out the thighs, rolling out the hip flexors. Everything feels pretty good because my mobility is pretty good overall. But I get to right here, the outside of my quad, right at the bottom, the vastus lateralis, and it's in my left leg, which is my weaker leg. That's the one that tends to want to buckle a little bit when I squat, so it makes sense. And oh, I'm rolling it with this thing, and it feels like a silverback gorilla is giving me the most vicious pressure points in my muscle. It like killed, like I was breathing heavy. It was excruciating. And that right there is just a quick example of how you need to stay on top of your mobility and how it can sneak up on you. Now, I caught it as soon as I felt like my hip was getting sore. Came down here, I'm rolling. My hip flexor already feels great again. Everything feels loosened up. But just wanted to let you guys know, stay on top of your mobility, guys. Because even when you feel like everything's fine, if you're training hard, you're training frequently, it's easy for muscles to tighten up, especially if you have any sort of imbalances and you're putting a little bit more strain on one side than the other. Even if it's only slight, muscles can tighten up. Get one of these rumble rollers, guys. Amazon, I recommend it. Not any other type of foam roller. This one, the rumble roller. Don't get it confused with the soft foam rollers that have bumps, but they're really soft. You need the rumble roller. The bumps are hard. And this thing is painful, but this is your indicator. If you can roll over this wince-free, you are nice and loose. But if you roll over this and it hurts, you're tight. Oh my God, if this is not the ultimate powerlifting gym in every way, I don't know what is. I woke up kind of late, had to rush out of the house, so I didn't really eat much at all. I really wasn't hungry anyway. And it's bench day, and then I get here, and one of the girls that was here training before me, as she leaves, says, help yourself to the donuts on the counter. There's donuts on the counter. Look at this. Oh my God, I didn't even have the double chocolate, which is my favorite. Oh. I really ain't hungry, but I don't know. I might gotta pick at some of that for the bench day strength, hey? All right, 1, 2, up, thank you. All right, 1, 2, up. Thank you.
Press. That was easy. Woo. Hey, I fuck with that rule.
Alright, here's incentive. You're on film. Now you have to wake up. Ready? Grab and rip it. Everyone. Oh, look at that. You ever have those days where you just can't wake up? Like you take pre-workout and you still just want to take a nap? And even when you're under the weight, you're just like, I can't even get fired up, I just want to sleep. That's how both of us are feeling. The energy in the gym is real today.
And we blame women. They are succubuses.
I blame my immense obesity. Bench day felt good. Definitely happy with how clean 335 moved. I mean, my butt stayed 100% on the bench. There was no grinding, no sticking point. It was nice and clean and smooth. At the same time, I want to see it move a little bit faster than it did. So we're just gonna keep working and get that explosive power going again. So this is Ariana's video that she's editing, and I want to give her full credit. I'm proud of her. She has been filming all of her own stuff. I help her out, obviously, with the stuff that she can't film because she's like in the ring. But she's been filming all of her own stuff, and she's been doing all of her own editing. Like all the music, all the jump cuts, that's 100% her. And she's getting good at it, so I'm really proud of her. This is her latest video that by the time you're watching this will be up on YouTube. But I had to come in here in the beginning and just whip her up a little intro. Look at this fast intro. A little key to intro, guys, is to take the action scenes and chop out any slow parts. So like if someone's winding up for a punch, cut out the winding. Even cut out the part where the fist is going near their head. Just have it start right as the fist connects to their head, and then have it end as soon as it connects. So everything's fast paced.
The world.
Yeah. I love doing little action-y jump cuts. Anyway, that's her video. Check it out. YouTube.com/Ariana. She deserves the support. She deserves the positivity. So appreciate you guys watching and supporting.
I didn't know.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Woo.
Thanksgiving Eve.
This is a pretty big deal. I just got an email from Isatori about their Black Friday sale, and it's going from Friday all the way until Sunday at midnight. Every single thing in stock on the website is going to be $30 or less. Whey protein, pre-workouts, you name it, $30 or less. And then on top of that, you can use the discount code NWB15 still, which is nuts. So the discount code, as you guys hopefully all know by now, that's 15% off of everything. So now you're gonna be getting everything for $30 or less, and then an additional 15% off of that. So that's insane. That's like basically free supplements. And again, that goes from Friday morning, 10 a.m., starts at 10 a.m. Friday morning, Black Friday, and runs until midnight on Sunday. So the whole entire weekend, NWB15, Isatori.com. It's also free shipping in the US. Front squats, feeling a lot better. If you guys remember a video that I did a couple of weeks ago, it was my first time doing front squats in ages and they were just kind of ugly looking. I said my goal was to clean up my form. Form is certainly cleaning up, very happy. Warmed up to a single with 315 and then 340 today before beginning my working sets. And I gotta say 340 moved nice and easy, popped right up. My knees stayed wide open, they didn't cave in at all. My hips didn't shoot back at all. It's starting to look a lot more like a clean front squat, which I'm ecstatic about. So 340 felt amazing, felt easy, felt clean. Dropping back to 285, we're gonna do a bunch of sets and reps with 285, all beltless work. I started doing these beltless last week, and the day after I did them beltless, my abs were actually really, really sore. So doing front squats beltless definitely engage your core, definitely engages your abs really well. So doing a lot of beltless work today. I absolutely love getting stronger. It is such a high for me. It's such an exciting feeling to me, getting stronger. That's initially why I switched to powerlifting. I always loved, even when I bodybuilded, is that a word? Even when I was doing bodybuilding, I loved the heavy lifts. I loved Ronnie Coleman because he lifted heavy. So finally switching to powerlifting and then learning how much of a technique sport powerlifting actually is, because like many people, before I knew anything about it, I always thought powerlifting was just a bunch of fat guys who one rep maxed. I didn't think there was anything to it. But obviously, once you get into it, you learn how much technique there is, and it becomes addicting like any other technique sport. I mean, I did boxing for a while. I'd confidently stand behind the idea that powerlifting is as much of a technique sport as boxing is, obviously in two very different ways. But it makes it really, really addicting. And then when you finally gain strength, in my opinion, nothing feels better. And I think everybody has their own thing. For me, it might have been because I was only such a small person. Like I remember freshman year, I was 104 pounds, and I'd get into fights, and I would get rocked, like, just because I was so small, literally, like, I'd go to, like, throw a punch or hit somebody or push somebody, and, like, I just wouldn't do anything to them because I was so tiny, and, like, they could just pick me up and throw me down. There was nothing. And, so I remember, like, and then just even in general, just doing daily tasks, helping, my parents with chores, or even when I got my first job at 14, I was a dishwasher, I had to pick up these big buckets of dishes, or take the trash out. And I remember there'd be times where I couldn't even get the trash over the dumpster late at night, because it'd be, like, soaking wet and heavy as hell. And so I think for me, maybe strength was just the thing because I was always so light and so weak. My dad was a marathon runner. I was born very thin. So doing, like, the running stuff was never really a huge issue to me. Getting abs wasn't really a huge issue to me because I was always so skinny naturally. And I always picked up the combat sports pretty quickly. I did wrestling and I became, I'll never say I was great at wrestling because I didn't do it that long, but I started catching on to it really fast. And then I only lost one match ever, and then I ended up winning all the other ones. Granted, I never went to states or anything like that, but my point is, I always picked those up fast. I picked up boxing fast. So I always loved the fighting sports, and I picked them up fast, but they're never like an obsession for me. Strength always was, though, I think just because I never had it. And I remember I'm not condoning fights. I've never been a huge fighter. I honestly think you're smarter to not fight, especially nowadays in the time of lawsuits. Everyone just goes crying to the police and you end up in court. It's not worth it. Not to mention retaliation if they want to come back with a weapon or with a gang of people. It's just not worth it. But, you know, when you're young, things happen. And I remember I really kind of stopped getting into fights around 16, but 16 was when I started really filling out finally. Like, that's when I started gaining some strength. That's when I started gaining like some good muscle mass. I was competing in bodybuilding. And I remember I got into a fight. My last fight, it wasn't even a fight. It really wasn't. It was like just a quick like brush. It was an almost fight. It didn't actually amount to a fight, fortunately. But it was actually in driver's ed of all places. And this kid just kept starting with me. I kept ignoring him. He kept starting. And finally, we're walking past each other in an aisle. And he goes to blatantly try to shoulder bump me, like really like hard, like not just bump. It was like bump and push. He tried to do that to me. And I remember just grabbing him and whipping him through a row of desks. And the kid just went flying. And the teacher looked and I immediately was like, I didn't hit him. But it was just a huge difference. And then as I got bigger and stronger, obviously I gained more confidence and I really didn't feel the need to fight. And in fact, there's been times now where people will like get loud with me and I'll just be the one to like walk away from it because it's just not worth it. If somebody were to like do something to Ariana, that's a lot different. But if someone's just drunk and it's like some drunk asshole running their mouth because they have a big ego, I don't really care. But my point is like building strength in general just built more confidence for me. So I never felt like I had to prove myself. I just carried myself with more confidence and then learning how to fight on top of that obviously made it for a nice combination. But I digress. My main point here is just simply that everyone has a thing that they love, but for me, I think strength is such a cool thing. Everyone glorifies the obvious athletics like fighting, even running, you know, how fast can someone do a 40-yard dash, stuff like that. I don't think enough credit's given to strength. And I've used strength so many times, like in real life situations. I remember when I worked construction, and this is when I was bodybuilding, but it's when I started like doing some power movements as well, so I could do the 500 pounds bench, like 3 something, whatever. And I remember I got onto this job site and we're building like this big wooden shed, and like we're building it from ground up, almost like a mini house. So we had to build the floor, so like a lot of like big 6x6 beams and like 2x4s and all that. So it was really heavy. The floor itself, it was big. I can't remember the measurements, but it was like big and really heavy. And there was 2 guys there on the site already, and we had to move it across the lawn. And they were constructing like, we didn't have any machinery like forklifts or anything, so they were constructing like this last minute like leverage system that does work pretty good, but they're constructing this leverage system to be able to jack it up and then slide it over. And I remember I was able to just go grab the edge of it, pick it up like a deadlift, and then I was able to walk it back and slide it across the yard myself. And like I just remember feeling like there's been situations like that a bunch of times. I've helped people push a jet ski up a ramp, and just there's little situations you run into day to day where you have to utilize a bit more strength than probably the average person who doesn't lift weights would be able to do comfortably. And it's just a great feeling, and you're like, wow, that saved so much time, and I feel so good being able to just do that. And I'm sure that goes with any skill. But yeah, that's my little speech right there. That's why I love strength training. And that's a little bit of background for me. So in the comments below, I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you guys value the most? If it's strength, let me know why. If it's anything else, let me know why. I don't think there's one right or wrong thing. Everybody's different. Everyone has things that they value differently. But what do you guys think?